The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol, the January 6th report. In this engaging summary of the January 6th report, by the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol, you will discover the key highlights of what transpired and the series of events that unfolded behind the scenes. The book investigates Donald Trump's role in the attack on the Capitol, his attempts to overturn the election, and the alarming tactics employed by his associates. The summary also delves into the detailed criminal referrals submitted to the Department of Justice and the impact and significance of these events on the sanctity of the democratic process in the United States.
Investigation of the U.S. Capitol attack. The book delves into the actions of the Select Committee in the aftermath of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. It follows the committee's objectives, witnesses, and their testimonies, providing insights into what led to the attack and its aftermath. The committee examined the role of former President Trump and social media platforms in inciting the insurrection and the law enforcement response to the violence. The book provides a comprehensive account of the investigation and its findings, helping readers understand the importance of the investigation in upholding democracy and justice. The 2020 U.S. presidential election, a tumultuous aftermath. The 2020 U.S. presidential election was one of the most consequential in history, with Joe Biden defeating Donald Trump. However, Trump refused to accept the result and encouraged his supporters to come to Washington on January 6, resulting in the Capitol riot. This incident led to the establishment of the Special Committee, which made criminal referrals to the Department of Justice for Trump's alleged crimes. The book's remaining sections detail the committee's report, from the election to the aftermath of the attack, and recommendations for the future. Trump's plan to halt the handover. The book recounts the lead-up to the Capitol riots and former U.S. President Donald Trump's role in the events. Beginning with the 2020 election results and the baseless claims of fraud Trump made, the summary continues to detail how he tried and failed to prove the election results were invalid. Despite repeatedly being told there was nothing he could do, Trump pressured Vice President Mike Pence to reject the election results during the certification process. When Pence refused, the situation escalated, leading to the deadly riots at the Capitol building. Trump's election interference tactics. Trump and his team attempted numerous tactics to interfere with the election results, including pressuring officials, faking electoral slates, and involving the Department of Justice. Trump even tried to replace acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen with a subordinate who would advance his baseless claims of electoral fraud. This summary outlines the dangerous lengths to which Trump went in his attempts to cling to power, including threats and intimidation towards those who refused to comply with his schemes. Trump's role in the Capitol riot. This summary explores how former President Trump's actions led to the violent attack on the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The summary describes how Trump's supporters, including extremist groups, took his tweets to heart and aimed to storm the Capitol to keep him in power. It examines how Trump did little to discourage the violence, despite pleas from his aides and family members. The summary details Trump's speech at the Ellipse rally, where he expressed his frustration that the assembled crowd was not larger, and how he was informed of the attack on the Capitol at 1:25 p.m. yet refused to call off the rioters for 187 minutes. Finally, the summary discusses how Ivanka Trump was able to persuade him to send tweets encouraging people to stay peaceful, but it wasn't until 4:17 p.m. that he sent a video message telling the attackers to go home. Trump's responsibility for the Capitol riot. The committee report holds Donald Trump solely accountable for the January 6 Capitol riot and recommends charging him for several crimes including obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and inciting an insurrection. The report also suggests that other members of his team might be complicit in the riot, and failing to hold them accountable could lead to tyranny. Chairman of the committee, Benny G. Thompson, emphasizes the importance of holding anyone who threatens the fairness of U.S. elections accountable for their actions.
As we wrap up the chief takeaways from the book's summary, it becomes clear that Donald Trump's influence and actions played a central role in inciting the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. The Select Committee outlines the various instances of lying, manipulation, and illegal strategies employed by Trump and his allies to maintain power and delegitimize the 2020 election results. Further, the committee highlights the potential criminal charges Trump could face, underscoring the importance of holding such individuals accountable for their actions. The long-term consequences of these events will likely reverberate in American history, affecting not only the nation's democracy but also the future of peaceful transfers of power.